Drop, stitch, magic loop, slip, slip, purl, slip, slip, knit, twisted cord, wrap and turn, pick up and knit. Joe plays scarf.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Joey's Scarf. Today is Thursday, February 27th, 2020, and my name is Lynda, and you can find me all over as LyndaGrace, and that's Lynda with a Y. It is a windy day today here in Barnegat. That's Barnegat, New Jersey, which is along the Jersey Shore. I think March is getting ready to make its appearance. It's very windy today. Temperatures are around high 40s. We've had a very mild winter, no snow whatsoever, and a lot of rain. So it's been kind of dreary. Today it's sunny but windy. This is a knitting, crochet, yarn podcast, and this is episode 42. Had a wild February. Lots of ups and downs, and hopefully better days are coming. So in the last couple of episodes, I told you about a knit-along that Jan from Jan's Crafty Crochet and I were running in the Joey Scarf group on Ravelry, and it was a cardigan make-along, and it ended January 31st. And we had about, I think, 4 completed objects, and a number of people participated but just didn't quite make it to the end. And I did pick 2 winners, one from the chatter thread and one from the finished object thread, and I'm going to tell you who they are. Okay, so I randomly selected from the finished object thread and from the chatter thread. From the finished object thread, it was, I selected Drew Bean, her name is Catherine, as the winner, and apparently this was her first make-along. So congratulations, Catherine. If you will get in touch with me, send me your address, or I'll try and get in touch with you through Ravelry, and I'll get a nice little gift out for you. From the chatter thread, randomly selected Ophelia Bells, and I think Ophelia, this was her first knit sweater, and she did a very nice job. I don't know if she finished or not, but this was from the chatter thread, and she was posting regularly in the chatter thread, letting us know her progress. So same thing, Ophelia, if you can get in touch with me, or I'll get in touch with you, we'll connect, and I'll send you out something nice. So thank you to everybody who participated. It was a fun knit along, and it gave me the encouragement to finish my sweater, and I hope it gave you all a chance to either knit a sweater for the first time or just have some company while you were knitting your cardigans. So thanks. So my first finished object is something I was working on the last episode, and it is a cowl that I was making, and it's just a ribbing at one end, ribbing at the other end, and then stockinette. And the yarn I used was dyed by my friend Jan from Jan's Crafty Crochet, Jan Swarbrick, and hand dyed it. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. And I paired it with mohair from Chelsea Yarns. so it gave it a nice soft halo, and it really came out nice. So I'm gonna, I'm sure the microphone is going crazy here, but so that's my cowl. Very warm around my neck, and I really like it. So that's my first finished object, and it's a little warm in here, so I'm going to take it off. But I can't even explain how soft it is and how beautiful Jan's yarn is. Just gorgeous. So that's my first finished object. Next, and I think I was just starting to have the idea for this in my last episode, and this is a granny square scarf that I made. And so I made the little squares. They were the small ones. I think they were, I don't know, maybe 3-inch squares. And I used a lot of minis to do the centers. And then I had some gray sock yarn that I used to do the borders around all the squares. It's quite long, quite warm. And I'm going to have to put a couple of pictures in here to show you how it looks. But I really like it. I like the way it came out. It was a fun crochet. I just got obsessed with doing it, and just went straight through and just kept making the squares and then sewing them together, and then I doubled it. So there were 4 squares across, and once I sewed everything together, I folded it in half and sewed the one end down so that there's just the right side is showing, or the finished side showing on both sides. Yeah, so that's my granny square scarf. I was debating whether or not to put fringe on it. I decided to put fringe on it. I kind of like the fringe. I kind of like the fringe. Yeah. So that's my granny square scarf. That's my second finished object, and that's my last finished object, but I have some whips, so on to the whips. Okay, my first whip is half of a pair of socks. So there's one. I still have to put in the heel here. It's a sock, my normal sock recipe. 2x2 ribbing. Make it, I think, about 7 inches till I put the place holder for the afterthought heel, and then the size of I think I do like almost 6 inches here before I start the decrease, and for the toe. So the heel is going to be the same color as the toe here. This is the yarn I'm using. I don't know who the dyer is, but it's really cool looking yarn. And the toes were probably a mini from someone too. Don't know. But it's really very, very warm feeling yarn, and the colors are so cool. And I started the second one. So that's what that's my sock knitting so far. That's my first whip. Okay, speaking of socks, I have another pair on the needles. I just started another pair. I do my socks using the magic loop method on a 48-inch circular needle, size 1. And I find it easy to do. That's, I don't know, I've gotten pretty good at the magic loop. The first pair of socks I ever knit, though, first couple of pairs, the way I learned to knit socks was using double-pointed needles. And I would have such a hard time with them because the stitches would fall off the needle. I tried everything to figure that one out. I was using bamboo needles at the time. This was years ago. And it just didn't work for me. I did get a set of knit picks, these wooden ones, which are nice, but still I still had the same problem of the stitches falling off the needles. So I just gave up using double-pointed needles for socks. Even if I'm doing a hat and when I come to the top of the hat, the decreases, I just use magic loop. But I don't know, someone was talking about Knitter's Pride zings, and they looked really nice, and I thought maybe if I got something like that, I might be able to go back to knitting socks on double-pointed needles, because that's how I started. That's how I learned to knit socks on double-pointed needles. So I really should stay off Instagram, because that's where I get all these ideas and all the wants and gimmies, and I have to have that. But anyway, I sent away for a set of Knitter's Pride Zings sock, and they're really beautiful needles. And they come in a nice case, and so I decided to start a pair of socks on double-pointed needles using my new zings. I had to try them out, right? I had a devil of a time getting them started because, like I said, it's been so long since I've worked with double-pointed needles. I was determined to stick to it until I got the hang of it. So I started another pair of socks. And these are, I don't know, you probably can't see, but they have stellina in them, so they're sparkly. And this is the yarn. But I'm enjoying using the double-pointed needles, and the needles really made a difference for me. They stay on the needles. I haven't had any problem with them falling off the needles. So I'm really enjoying this. I guess if I had to pick a favorite way to do them, I don't know. I'll wait until I finish this sock to make that choice. But this yarn is from this company. I don't know if they're still in business because I've had this yarn forever. But it's AngoraOnline.com, hand-dyed sock yarn. And it is superwash merino, 75%, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. But it's really pretty. Very, very pretty. Yeah, so those are my socks on my new double-pointed zings. Now, the question is, I use size 1 needles to make my socks. And this set comes with 0, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. I don't know what you would make with these other sizes. Any ideas? Because I hate that I bought all these needles and I won't have a use for them. What do you do with them? Except for socks. Let me know. So that's my socks, my double-pointed needle sock story. Okay. Another thing, I started another cowl. Now, I was trying to make Mason Dixon Knitting was showing these designs, like they called them a coin pattern, or there were boxes. I'll put some pictures here if I can find them. But I was trying to make one of the scarves with the coins, and it's color work. And I'll put a picture of how far I got on one. I started and stopped this one scarf so many times. So I'm going to put a picture of one of my attempts here. And I really love the circle, the coin design, but I just could not get the color work right. The stitches were pulling, and my tension just could not get my tension correct. Very frustrating. I tried so many times. I took it out, tried again with different needles, and it just was not successful. So I decided to use the yarn to make a cowl, still make a cowl. I found one from Tanis Fiber Arts, and it's called the Candygram Cowl. It's a free pattern by Tanis Lavalley, and Tanis Fiber Arts is the name of her company. But I thought it was a really pretty cowl. So that's what the one side looks like. This is what the other side looks like. And it's all done with slip stitches, which is really easy. So this is what I've been working on this. This is a really heavy, it's going to be a heavy cowl. And I don't know, we have not had any winter, so I don't know when I would wear this. Maybe next year we'll have a winter. But I'm having fun knitting it. I'm using Cascade 220 yarns, these two colors together. And yeah, something to pick up when I'm not knitting socks. Yeah, so that's my Candygram cowl. And all the stuff that I'm talking about, which I think you might want to have some more information or a link to, I will put the links in the description bar. Yeah, so you'll find information there. So that's another one of my works in progress. Okay, so before I show you my anything else, around this time of year, I have a knit along. Will be the third year, I think, that I'm doing this. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure that most of you do know, that the name of my podcast, Joey's Scarf, is named in honor of my son Joe, who passed away 8 years ago from colon cancer. He was just 34 when he was diagnosed, and he passed away when he was about 36, I think. His birthday is April 4th. So I do host a knit along in honor of Joe and in honor of his birthday. And the knit along is, the premise is to make something for someone in honor of that person who is meaningful to you. And it could be anyone who is still with us or not, but in honor of that person. And I find that when I'm knitting, if I'm knitting for someone, I am thinking about that person as I'm knitting and wondering how they're going to like what I'm knitting, if they're going to like it. Hopefully I will see a pleasant smile when they receive this gift that I'm making. Back there is the scarf that I made for Joe, and that's what really the podcast is named after that scarf, Joey's scarf. And I made that for him. And while he was going through chemo, I was knitting on that. And I gave it to him, and he wore it. And I just remember so vividly seeing him with the scarf on and how happy it made me to see him wearing it. So that's the premise. If you want to make something for yourself, but in honor of another person, so that when you're wearing it or when you're knitting on it, you will be thinking of that person. So we can start as soon as I get the thread up, maybe today or tomorrow. And please, please, please participate. I've had good response in the past, and it's just, I've had people reach out to me and tell me their stories, and it's just been very heartwarming and makes me feel that I have gotten to know you. So starting now, and I think we'll go, Joey's birthday is the 4th, so maybe we'll extend it to the end of April. So give you enough time to figure out what you're going to make and to participate. So thank you. If you're going to do that, I would really appreciate it, and it would mean a lot to me. Okay, this is a spoiler alert. The next thing I'm going to show you is the progress I have made on a knit-along that I'm participating in, and it is a mystery knit-along by Imagined Landscape, and it is a gnome, mystery gnome knit-along. So this one is called Gnome is Where You Hang Your Hat. So I'm going to show you my progress. If you're participating in this, you can look away if you don't want to see, because I'm up to date with all the clues. So here it is, and it's so much fun so far. And I've been able to practice my color work. This is, I haven't finished, haven't gotten all the clues yet, but this is it so far. And it's so cute. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like when it's finished. I already want to make another one, but I want to finish this one first before I dive in and make another one. Delve or dive? I'll have to look that one up to see. Anyway, this is my progress so far, and I really like it. Look at how big that hat is, how tall. I thought the hat was never going to end. It's got little ear flaps. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Using sock yarn and using minis, so that's good. You could get to use up your minis. I don't think I've ever done a mystery knit along. That was a little bit of a challenge for me, just to pick out colors without knowing what it was going to be. But this one is fun so far. I'm really liking it. So that's what I've been working on. Okay, so as I said before, I am enticed by stuff I see on Instagram. And one of the things that got me was this little toolkit by Akerworks. And I thought it was a very neat little thing. And this is what it looks like. This is magnetized. And this thing is a stitch gauge. So you just lay it over your knitting. Let's see if I can show you. Like that. And it allows you to see rows and stitches across very easily. And it isolates the row and the stitch across for gauge, which is something that I have a difficulty with. So if I do a gauge swatch, I normally have problems counting, keeping the rows straight to be able to count exactly how many stitches there are. So this little device, I think is going to really come in handy. And then it came with this little toolkit thing, and it's magnetized, so everything just sticks on there. You can put your little stitch markers on there, scissors. This is a ruler and some needles in there. I thought this was a really nice little toy that I decided I had to have, by Akerworks. And again, it'll be in the show notes or the description box. I don't do show notes, but I do put stuff in the description box. Yeah, so this was purchased probably about 3 a.m. one morning when I couldn't sleep. And that's dangerous, to get on the internet when you can't sleep and start ordering stuff. And I think, yeah, I got this directly from Akerworks. Okay, one of the things I did this month, I would, there's a yarn store in Cape May that I would go to whenever we were in Cape May. And they were going out of business and having an enormous 50, 60, 75% off sale off of everything. So how could I not go? So I wound up with a very large bag of yarn. It was just too much. I just didn't know what to select, and I had Ross was with me, and he likes very rustic looking yarn, and they had tons of this yarn in all these really cool colors. So I bought a bunch of these, and I think they were only like maybe $2 or $3 a skein after the discount. So I bought many, many skeins of these. And this is Kuzia Mae. It's made in Italy, and it is 60% Lana, 20% viscose, and 20% palmonade. So I think I want to say 60% wool, and the rest acrylic. I think so. Yes. So it's 60% wool, and the rest is acrylic. But I just I thought the colors were really cool, and that they would make some either scarf, like the rustic looking scarf, or hat. Yeah, so I bought a bunch of that, and bought a couple of skeins of this. This is Painted Sky. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This is 100% wool too. I bought 2 skeins of this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. A shawl maybe. And then the owner of the store, which is now out of business, or I'm not sure if it's the owner of the store, but she carried yarn from this Cape May fiber company. Now they may still be in business, but I'll have to look that up and see. But this is I want to say this is hand-dyed yarn, sock yarn. And this is this one here is DK, and it says Superwash Merino, and yeah, hand-dyed in the USA. naturally dyed. I can't read that. So that was our trip to Cape May, and I walked away with a bunch of stuff. Okay, what else did I buy? There's a new podcast in town called The Woolen Women, and it is a mother and her twin daughters, and they all knit. And the mother is Aggie DiCarlo Knits, I think, is her screen name on Instagram. And all three of them are very crafty. Aggie makes project bags. They're local to me. They live in New Jersey. And the twins are also crafty. Her one daughter she makes project bags also, and her name of her company is Sammys Creations. So watch their podcast. They've done 2 episodes so far, and I will put the link below. They're a lot of fun to watch. And I also ordered something from Sammys Creations. Let's see what it is. How cute. Oh, they're adorable. Look at these. We have a mushroom. And I think this is from Alice in Wonderland, a teacup. And this one, a little cupcake or some kind of frosty looking dessert. They're adorable, very cute. Oops, let's see. Yeah, very nice. I love them. Mushroom is really adorable. Okay, and then what else? Handmade with love from, this is Shamrock for St. Patrick's Day. Thank you. Something else in here. A little Project Keeper tray. Is that what they're called? Progress Keepers, not Project. What is wrong with me? So, a little tray that you can put your Progress Keepers and stitch markers in. Very cute, and it says knit. And it has little sparkly jewels in there. Very adorable. Okay. Thank you, Sammy. I just love these. It's Progress Keepers. Very cute. So check her out. She does, and Aggie, both of them. Their products are really, really very nice, and their podcast. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Please join me in the knit along for Joey's scarf in honor of someone. That I hope that you do that. I'm going to get going and keep knitting on my beautiful new zings. And I can't think of anything else. Have to get Ross going on another podcast. I haven't had a chance to record him lately, but we're going to do that. And I guess this is going to be it. I can't think of anything else. Oh, you can please check out my blog, LyndaGrace, An Hour Away. Over the weekend, we had to travel to Virginia. We live in New Jersey. So it was not for a happy occasion, let's say that. But while I was there, I met someone who really intrigued me, and I found her to be very special. So if you go to LyndaGrace, An Hour Away, and of course I will put the link, I talk about this person that I met. So that's it for real, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye now.